Testing, 1 2 1 2. This should be going live now. Got everything up and running. Had an issue with some of the bitrate stuff. I haven't done this in a minute, and it looks like YouTube updated some of their parameters about bitrate. So I think we should be good here now. Hello, everyone. Heyo, what's up? Let's see here. I want to make sure I got this again. I'm a little rusty here on the keys. Let me just double check here. I gotta do one thing. 1 2. All right. Let me. This magic button. If I click this should bring up my charts. Hopefully, it's not anything inappropriate. And can I preview? Oh, here we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Look at that beautiful chart of NVIDIA. It should be syncing. There we go. Great. That makes me happy. Okay, good. We got that up and running. We got about 5 or 6 people join. I appreciate that. We're kind of just tugging along here. Want to kind of touch base on some things. Again, it has been quite some time since I have done some live streaming. So again, I appreciate everyone coming out and watching the stream. We're going to be basically discussing, talking about different various stocks that are coming for the coming week, some news things that are coming out. We have some Fed stuff. We have a couple earnings on the docket, like I believe I saw like Oracle. I have it pulled up actually here. We can pull that. We can just start with that. We just swing that over. So we got these guys here. Yeah, the bigger names that I see here is of course I see Adobe is coming out at the close on Thursday. We got Restoration Hardware, Play, aka David Buster's. I haven't seen that stock in a long time. Another big leader. We have Broadcom and Oracle is there. So these are the ones I'm really not too well informed. I loved Casey back in the day. Casey's back in the day. They had some really interesting pizza that was actually quite delicious. So let's go ahead again. That's nothing too. We can kind of touch base on those if you guys would like to, and kind of cover those. Let's take a looky-loo here. Hold on. Here we go. Here, I got things moving around. Okay, so of course everyone knows about NVIDIA. They had a very large run up the past couple weeks, or actually past couple months, and it's going to be doing a 2-for-1 stock split. As you can see here on my Thinkorswim through Charles Schwab, they have already updated the information regarding the new price indication, meaning that it was a 10-for-1 stock split, so it was basically closed at, what was it, 12.50 something, and so that's just going to be basically divided by the 10, and that is what you're going to get. This has absolutely no effect on the underlying performance of the stock. It is literally just a number in the universe, and people are going to be doing and doing some more buying from that point on. Meaning, they want to. The reasons 99% of the times stock splits happen is due to the fact of they want retail investors, employees, and people who can't afford a $1,000 stock, even they do offer sometimes partial shares to be able to get in. It actually has no performance incentive. It doesn't grow and doesn't grow earnings. It doesn't grow revenue. It doesn't do anything like that. But yeah, it's very interesting. Action is asking, can we discuss AMD today? Of course, we can discuss AMD. I'm curious how their stock is going to June with some new tech coming out. Yes, new tech coming out. We have, the other things that we have on the board is Tesla shareholder meeting this week. I believe that's the 15th or Wednesday. I think it's a Wednesday. Then we have the Apple event that's going to be potentially an OpenAI. Basically, I don't know if they're going to be partnering with OpenAI and creating the new iPhone and create a large language model onto the phone and actually completely erase and upgrade Siri to a new fantastic model. That would be actually a dream come true on that front. So yeah, let's go ahead and just jump into NVIDIA for you, my friend. So let's go. I'm in AMD. So I have some price alerts out. These are basically just on support and resistance sides. I'm currently not in NVIDIA. I do like the CEO a lot. I think she's very intelligent. Sue. What's her name? Sue, right? Um, so this is, again, we're looking at this at a daily chart here. I want to kind of go on a larger time frame. This is a weekly chart, and we're looking back 3 years. So this is going to give you a lot of data and kind of show you the amazing run that AMD has already had. We do see here, I want to kind of highlight here, this is the 10-week SMA, and this, I believe, is the 55. Yep, the 55 SMA here on the weekly side here, and so forth. So this is AMD has definitely not performed as well as NVIDIA, because you can see it's not at all-time highs like NVIDIA. It is kind of lagging. Does that mean that it could potentially catch up and overtake NVIDIA? Again, it's got to kind of to come into play with the new tech that's coming out, and it's going to be definitely awesome to see and hear. But what looks like really interesting to me here is going to be on like the Fibonacci tree here. So we're going to be looking at a very Fibonacci resistance levels here. It's okay. I thought it was going to be at least at the 50% percentile retracement. It has not even there yet. It's going to be very interesting if we can get up to that 194 to maybe even 200. That's going to be, I think it's going to be very actionable at that level here. It is kind of coming off some of that downtrend, which we like to see here as well. So again, what I mean by a downtrend here, you have this level right here, basically, right? This is considered a downtrend if you're doing some kind of very basic technical analysis. My 7-year-old daughter can probably draw these lines better than I can. But so this is basically what this means. It's in this trend box, and it's just kind of bouncing around, absolutely doing just a downward trend. And once it breaks that trend. So it has broken the trend. It is trying to make a new trend. It could be consolidating. It could be doing all kinds of different various actions. This guy's kind of trading sideways here. And also a thing to note is the volume down here on the bottom of your screen. It hasn't been very high, which is good. So it says kind of consolidating. We start seeing very large red candles. That could be some early warning flags as well. But you can see here, just looking at the pattern here, you're seeing a kind of this downward trend for X amount of time, and it kind of breaks out slowly but surely, right? And it's usually with one green candle. So we could be here at X marks the spot kind of scenario on that potential next move higher there. Again, there's a lot of different analysis that you can do from that. Some of the more basic ones you can do, just basically just drawing a trend line from the swing high to swing low was 130 days. As you can see here, it was 20 bars, 130 days, and the stock crashed about, 30%. This one's going to be probably a little bit more greater and faster. This was 70 days, and it crashed about 47%. So I'm doing from the very tippy top to the bottom. That's going to be pretty drastic. That's going to be 37%. And that could be a good level of like, hey, 50 to 52 is going to be a level in the sand where it could be, if it comes down to, we'll have to see if it supports there. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to draw a, what up, Bear? How you been, my bud? I'm so glad to see you. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to do the box of purgatory, or the box of come into my house and let's see what happens. So if it does kind of come up and if it kind of rolls back over, we would potentially want to see it come here. But it can continue going higher here. So just be very mindful of that. It looks like it does have earnings on the 30th of next month as well. So we have to be looking out for that. and seeing on how that potentially could move the stock as well in that perspective. But yeah, in NVIDIA, if we start drilling it down here more on the daily side, I like this price action a little bit better. The downward trend shows a little bit better. It's not extended. It's just consolidating, and it's just kind of waiting for the next breakout here. So that 170 above is going to be, we want to see that volume also to play a role. So we want to see a spike in volume and a nice spike in price. Again, a lot of things can move the stock. So earnings is usually the one biggest things, and then some kind of announcements, aka new technology, new kinds of whatever on that front. Let's see here, and then let's do that, and then we can go into like a deeper dive on that sense. Um, I do like an AMD, and it is some of my parameters are flashing as potential buy, but I am just honestly fully invested in NVIDIA and other tech stocks currently right now. Johnny Boy Hikes, Bear, I love you. I miss you, brother. Subi, Johnny drove my micro today. Looks like they're having a construction boom. Drove by the MU. Let's see here. Yeah, MU is definitely off to the races. As you can see, that this pattern is substantially better than how AMD is performing, especially on the weekly side here. We are well above the 10 week holding here, or the blue teal line, whatever color you want to call it. So we're very much above that. And it is, I wouldn't say extended. It's just a little bit very short consolidation. You can see here that huge drop here for whatever reason. I'm not sure exactly why, what happened there. But it bounced off that 10-week SMA. So I want to kind of watch that line and being kind of my early sign of guardrail or entering. A lot of market leaders and the fast tech moving stocks will follow this line quite a bit. But just remember, this is on the weekly side of the chart. So just be completely understanding of that. So then if we go down to the daily side, you can see a little bit more price action. Huge gaps ups. Again, earnings. Look at that huge pop. Came right back down, almost filled the gap. Faked probably some people out, some kind of trap here, and now it's kind of like moving higher here. That break above 130, again, making all-time highs just like last Thursday. But with the market consolidating with non-farm payroll last Friday, it's kind of down slightly a little bit. What I would start looking at this again, maybe around 120, and seeing how it reacts to that level here. That's gonna be my first level of potentially looking at it, and because it's kind of too far extended for me for a new position. But if you're in it, yeah, just kind of use the guardrails on the SMA and kind of moving that target around there. I appreciate action. Yeah, I love talking stocks. I can talk stocks all day. I'm most likely buying more AMD calls this week, already having the at the money 165, 625 call and a few 730s this Friday expiration. So I'm not sure on how advanced you are with options. Just be very mindful about those short dated options, especially the ones that are happening Friday. You want those to execute fairly. You need to move fast, because what's going to happen is that theta decay is going to kick in really fast, and it's going to eat away any kind of profits that you are having against it. I'm more in the camp of selling options short. So an options premium. I don't want to go into too much of a great deal on that. That might bore a couple people if I'm talking about option erosion and theta, and especially short-term options, and just kind of letting them come down to where I want to buy them. If you're looking to add another block or something like that, what I would do is would sell like the one. They're not. There's not. We'll see if the implied volatility comes in this week or something with all the other stuff that's going on. But this doesn't seem too great, getting 255 or 260 for the 165 and the 167.5 for 365 premium. It's not too bad. it doesn't have earnings this week. That's why the expected move is basically $8 here. So again, what the expected move is telling you is gonna the market makers, due to the Black Scholes model, is going to be expecting a move in between plus or minus $8 for the week. Again, that's wrong. That could be wrong but they're only counting for about 65 to 67% accuracy on that move here. So just be mindful about that as well. That's for AMD. Uh, let's see. Yeah, AMD. It, I'm more of a slow, steady Eddie kind of trader here, and if I was going to play AMD to the long side, I would be looking out to leaps, probably like not maybe on January 26th, but like yeah, that's not even. I don't think that's considered a leap 222 days out. But all the way out there is potentially something that I would potentially looking at and kind of looking at what the open interest is and so forth. I need to change that. Apply volatility delta. Yeah, here we go. Delta, yeah. So if you buy something like it's going to be in the money. So you can basically own NVIDIA synthetically for around $6,800 so if you have a delta of 90 plus, you can basically own the stock at that price. But I don't want to go into that. That's going to be a little bit too complicating, and kind of playing it on that. Let's go jump into some other news that I wanted to discuss. Again, keep any questions coming, rolling, whatever, going forth. I wanted to discuss Tesla. So Tesla, Elon is trying to get everyone to vote to have the board approve the new pay package of 50 billion or whatever it is, some crazy amount. It's looking like majority retailers and some institutional investors have already said that they are voting. They're going to be in agreement to see that and have that play out in his favor. But again, we won't know until the day comes because there were some potential red flags regarding people outside of the United States that are having to pay $100 or $200 just to vote, which again, it's a free thing to do. And the conspiracy tin hat folks are saying that they're trying to block it, all this kind of stuff. Again, I think this could be spooling up for a big move, or it could be a nothing burger. To be quite honest with you, the more I think about it, I think it basically could be just be a liquidity squeeze, aka to maybe just get some premium on it by selling stuff, but not by actually seeing a large move higher here. It is very tight actions that we're seeing here the past couple weeks here. That is gonna again, it's way down here at like the 170 levels. We haven't seen that there in quite some time here. Again, we did have it really crash the beginning of last year, with the whole market going down in 2023 in the beginning, getting all the way down to like 101. But seeing a pretty strong recovery from that and this really choppiness. And the sad thing is Tesla hasn't been very much involved with the overall market rally that we've seen across the NASDAQ and tech sector stocks. Like, I don't think even Tesla is considered one of the Magnificent Seven anymore, or whatever they call it. I think it has kind of come and gone, and it's not a stock that people are considering in that sense because for whatever reasons it kind of just lost its favor. The new kid on the block is NVIDIA or so forth. But again, Tesla's still doing absolutely crazy stuff. Their cars and so forth. What, of course. Um, yeah, Tesla is looking at this more and more. This is very tightly wound, and just kind of consolidating here. It is just below some really key moving averages, and just hasn't been at the greatest level for really people to kind of get into because it hasn't been. Yes, they released Cybertruck. That was a little bit of a pop, but it wasn't really the a mover that most people thought. This could just be consolidating for quite some time here until they start unveiling robots or the next car or other kind of things that they're going to be doing at the company with AI and really getting FSD to fully be released in the sense of I can take a nap in the back of the car and it will take me there. I think that's going to be a little bit more of a harder thing to accomplish. I know Elon's got his hands busy with rockets, AI, and, and and the social media app, aka X, um, on that front. So yeah, I don't have really too much to discuss else about Tesla. We'll see what happens. Again, that big vote is coming out there. W, what's up? I've been here. I haven't been streaming. It's been a while. I saw Roaring Kitty do it. I said I kind of miss it. So I wanted to come back and do it and kind of just get a little bit more active on the channel again, and really enjoy these Sunday night live streams with everyone and kind of get that ball rolling again. I really do enjoy these time discussing with other folks about stocks, the market, and the overall economy. Very interesting stuff. The next one on the board is going to be Apple. So Apple is going to be they have their WWDC conference on Tuesday, and there has been already news media talking about potentially a AI partnership with OpenAI. What does that mean for Apple? What does that mean for OpenAI? They have a deal with Microsoft already. What is Sam Altman doing? How is he able to get all these deals as being uh, a non-for-profit organization started 15 or 10 years ago, whatever it was? Um, Interesting stuff, right? Um, so looking at the technical side on Apple here, what do you see? I see a W, right? W for a win. Look at this, like boom, 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 right? This is what I see. Let's see here. We're gonna basically do this right here. This is a complete consolidation pattern here. We are waiting for some kind of potential move higher here. As you can see, that we have not seen success here, especially here and then here. So is the third time the charm? We have news behind it. Could this be going higher here? We're looking for a break to at least 200. So that would be uh, critical. I wouldn't say critical in the sense of like it has to happen. Nothing has to happen. It's the market does what the market wants to do, um, in that sense. But this pattern looks very bullish in my view. Um, and this potentially could be playing out with that news catalyst, with the overall market being a little bit more on the bullish side, and just kind of just maybe it's ripe for the picking. Again, Apple is almost at all-time highs at 200. It has never broken above 200 here. You can see the all-time high is basically 199.62. So in that sense here, that's going to be a pretty large move. Usually when that happens is you'll see a large candle break higher and then it would kind of retract quite fast here. Let's go move to the daily side, and you can really see that price action come into play here, and seeing that potential candles of just basically just flirting with that $200 line, which I love is the Livermore from residence of a stock trader, that 1930s play on the sense of the stocks are very attracted or magneted to price action numbers, or aka whole numbers. So 200, 100, 150, those kind of numbers, those kind of are some attractive numbers that stocks like to go to. That being said here, that 200 is only a couple points higher here. It is a hard, tough time to buy right now. It is a little bit extended in my point of view. The time that I got into it was basically when it broke up here after earnings around 180. It was kind of consolidating. It never really broke. I gave it a couple days here. The AI partnership kind of stuff kind of came out. I thought that was a news catalyst that has been driving the stock up very nicely to the upper right hand side of the chart, which is my favorite thing for the market to do for me. And we'll see how the price action comes in from there. Again, again, I don't have a crystal ball here. I have no idea where it's going to be going. But I do would like to see it break above 200 here. Some levels of resistance, as you can see, it has happened before. Um, it can come down, right? Like it doesn't have to go to 200. It can go back to 180 and go back to 150. It doesn't care what I think. I'm just looking and being patient, and using risk management properly of cutting losses fast, and making sure that my targets are hit, and having a plan regarding around that. Catch your handle. What's up? Yes, I'm still alive. I hope you're doing well. I was kind of nervous. I was hoping I remembered everyone's name. That I do that I recall everyone's name. I think I at seeing a couple people. I want to get the Discord started back up and everything. But yeah, thank you for swimming by, my friend. Um, we did Tesla, we did NVDA. Let's look at the futures here. It looks like we're looking. This is at the minis for. Let's go the Nasdaq. So Nasdaq, it's basically flat over right now. So we'll see how it opens up tomorrow morning here. So that's the Nasdaq futures. A couple other stocks that were on my radar in the sense of looking forth. Let me pull up my thing. Oh, we wanted to talk about some earnings stuff, right? We had Adobe this week. So Adobe has been a what's the best way to put this? A train wreck. Like it's been a complete train wreck. Trading very badly, and just not seeing any kind of like love. This is basically how Action was asking about NVIDIA earlier. This is looking like boom. Oops, I want a different color. I like yellow doing those downward trend lines. 1 second. There we go. That would do yellow. There we go. There we go. That's a downward trend if I ever seen it, right? Kind of bouncing around, bunch of little bouncy, bouncy, bouncy on the way down. But guess what? Earnings are at Friday after the bell. What? I mean, sorry, Thursday after the bell. Correction, Thursday after the bell. Ken, um, what does that mean? That could make the stock rocket or go down even more, right? So, what is the expected move for? Without looking, I wonder what it is. I'm gonna say, ooh, over under. What's the expected move for Adobe this week? I'm gonna say plus or minus 35. Guys, I didn't look. I swear to God. Look at this. Plus or minus $35. I'm just saying, no crystal ball here. No tricks, no tricks, no tricks. But I called it. Um 35 potential move here. Again, that's plus or minus for the week. With majority of the move potentially coming Friday due to the after earnings stuff. Again, you saw a lot of large movers going down with like CRM. We had CRM crash really bad on earnings. Did it come back? Yes, it made a bounce, but it's still in very bad territory. I don't know why this says upward trend, Thinkorswim. It's a downward trend. Looking here on the daily side, you can really see the fall off here. That's not like a slowly glide lower. That's a getting shot out of the sky and just falling like a ton of bricks, and really kind of bouncing, honestly. Like that's quite impressive. It is coming back. It has not filled the gap. And what do I mean by filling the gap is this drop right here, all right, boop, has not been filled. It's not even, it's halfway there, right? It's halfway there. It needs to get back around that 270 level. Again, it took on a lot of damage. There was a lot of negative reports on saying things like this is the worst drop in CRM's history. They don't know what they're doing. Enterprise AI is stupid. CRM is out of the loop. They don't know what they're doing. Benioff is too doing this and that, spending time on his boat. What I don't know what they're saying, but just silly stuff like that. CRM very strong in the sense of its share in the market, but I think the AI play was a little bit too soon. And again, I think people, what is it? What's it called when your head's above the skis or something, or your head's beyond the skis or something like that? You basically, it wasn't balanced enough, and I think the expectations had to be reeled in a little bit. And then with the higher levels of expectation of the AI and enterprise, it just didn't play out. Even with like a low small miss in the numbers, people just overreacted, um, and really just puked everything up. Again, if you're a fan of CRM, that would have been a great buying opportunity. That 220-ish price range that looked very enticing, and potentially could be playing out well. Again, selling some of those puts down there would have got you a nice little bit of premium. CRM. What else did I wanted to discuss? I wanted to look at, and then there was potential. So Eli Lilly, if you're not familiar with this company, pharmaceutical stock, they are the ones who do Ozempic or whatever the fat loss injection shot is. Excuse me, I need to get a sippy sip here. If Spindrift wants to sponsor me, I would greatly appreciate. I love Spindrift. Anywho, going with that front, Eli Lilly is looking strong. Oh, what do you want, buddy? Oh, here's Sullivan. Hey, buddy. He's just saying hello. And my dog. Um, just came in my room saying hello. Where was I? Oh yeah, Eli Lilly is looking quite strong here. Again, they are potential some FDA stuff coming out on it being passed on some new drugs and getting some more ownership there. This thing is a little bit extended here. That where would have been a great buy. It would basically be at this level here, basically just right above like the 375 to 380 level would have been that price to kind of break out and get from that level. So again, a nice move up. We just the earnings was kind of a miss. It kind of came down, but it never really broke drastically like we saw with CRM and other companies in the past coming weeks. So with that, we could be seeing some potentially even going higher again, closing last week at all-time high. So you got to be very heads up on that, and the buying opportunity would be kind of basically pulling back to the this is the daily side. This is the 50 SMA, but on the weekly side, it's going to be the 10 SMA. So basically around that 75 to 70, 775 to 780 ish price range. And see if it comes down drastically from there, you got to be cautious. If it slowly comes down to that level or the line catches up with it, those are some two scenarios that can be playing out well in our favor. Let's see here. Let me look at my notes. Oh, Oracle has earnings this week as well, so that's ORCL. This one is a little bit more mixed. This is definitely in a box here for me. I'm not too well versed with a lot of their products. I know they're again the world renowned first database they made and so forth. They own NetSuite. I think they own part of NetApp or whatever on that front. But it's basically just been trading in this box. We can call this a Darvis box. So we can see if this is a Darvis box. So basically it is kind of like a Darvis box. Niccolo Darvis, that is another technical trade. Any breakout again with earnings, we could see that potentially going higher. And I want to guess on what the potential market move would be for a 125 stock for Oracle for this week, because it does have earnings this week. I'm going to guess, not going to look, I'm going to guess probably a five. No, I'm going to give it a $6 move. Oh, a $9.54. Okay. All right. There's a lot of implied volatility cooked up in Oracle there. I should have guessed a little bit bigger because a lot of these moves have been very large, especially to the downside. You can see here the past couple earnings. Again, earnings drives the stock, right? Like look at these large volumes. Guess where that large volume came in? At earnings. So it's very hard. You have to. I found out after many many years, I have to own stocks for multiple quarters and basically 8 to 10 beat and raise quarters, and you can get a very large, beautiful swing in the market. That being said, here this is it's not my cup of tea. Let's put it that way. What's the other one we looked at? We wanted Oracle. Um, was it? Oh, Broadcom was the other one. It was on Wednesday. Let me. Broadcom is AVGO. This thing is probably fantastic. Yeah. So this one is definitely a much higher flyer here. As you can see here, the chart is really following that 10-week SMA here very well here, and kind of really consolidating, basically kind of waiting and asking for the river card, aka the next market move, aka the earnings report. And for a $1,400 stock, what do I think the potential market move is? I'm gonna guess probably 90, 95. Okay, so it's a 95 plus or minus for the week. So be mindful of that. That's nothing too crazy, but it's been consolidating for a couple weeks. We haven't seen too much volume pick up here on the bottom here. Let's look on the daily side here. Yeah, this has been. Look at this beautiful Darvis box here. This is just kind of just bouncing around here, just waiting from basically from its last earnings. It kind of came down, hit the 10 or the 50 SMA, and it's kind of been bouncing around here. It has been probably due to other market turmoil, has been kind of just bouncing around here as well. But it's very zigzaggy, Zorro kind of ish. This is kind of what the of the blade of the wraith. It's not a blade actually; it's a wraith, I believe he has. Um, in that front. So we're looking again for that break above 1425. Again, earnings. If you don't know, if it's the first time watching the live stream, earnings is a boo, 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 a coin flip. That is correct. 10 points for anyone out there who has answered that. Look at that pretty thing. What did else I wanted to look at? Ooh, CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike had a great earnings this week. What does this look like? We just looked at. This looks a lot like we just looked at Broadcom, right? Um, Very much consolidating at those higher levels, and just waiting for that move. Again, flushing low before earnings and then popping on earnings. And then now being added into the S&P 500. They're doing a rebalance, basically. I forget what stocks they took out one of Kathy Wood's stocks that I remember she always talked about. Was it I think I wrote it down in my notes. Shoot. Uno Mento. Was it ILM? I'm going ILMN. Yes, Luma. Yes. So this was. I think this Kathy Wood still owns this. I remember she did. She owned this quite a bit back in the day, and that front, and then basically coming out to all time lows. This is a weekly chart. Looks disgusting. It was 526 a couple years ago, and it's been just trending lower and lower and lower. Not really getting above the 55. Not getting really too far extended from the 10 week line here. This is not the world's greatest pattern. Could this be a double bottom here? What do I mean by double bottom? The 89 low, potentially this 80-90 low here, but again, it's at 113. It's not really significant enough. I do see a flush coming in. I'm not sure. I really don't want to be touching a stock that's kind of flirting at these levels here. This is basically looks like a hang glider going about to slowly crash into the ground. And no offense to any of the companies or so forth, it's just not my cup of tea. That looking grandioso there. Let's go to what else did I have? I think I covered. Oh, Play. I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to look at this for entertainment. Holy moly, Dave and Buster's. Remember Dave and Buster's? What is this? Is this Dave and Buster's considered like one of the meme stocks still, but with AMC and GME? Wow. I didn't know it was trading like that. Is there more on here? Let me see the daily side. Yeah. Yeah, it's been doing next to nothing. Yeah, well, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. Let's do. I'm sure people want to be looking at GME. Oh, stock, right? This is a crazy run up here. No volume, no volume, and then just boom, bada bing. Crazy market moves. Roaring Kitty had a stream on Friday. People called him a drunk, a crazy person. I don't know what he is. I think he's more of a person with big cojones on him. And really, I don't think anyone knows what's going to happen with this. And just going to sit on the sidelines and watch it play out and just see what happens and just kind of go from there. We'll see on how that overall story kind of plays out. Again, I have no chips in the play for that. Another one I look at was a PLTR, a Palantir. Again, this is Alex, not Alex Tarp, Alex Karp, the guy with the fuzzy hair. He talks about a lot of things that some people agree with. All interesting stuff. I see it pumped up a lot. Not pumped up's the wrong word. Probably more like hyped up. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm a PLTR owner. I own PLTR. It's going to the moon. It's going to be the new Tesla. It's going to be the new NVDA, and so forth." But I'm having a little issue. I'm not saying it can't be. I never want to be negative about something, but it has to prove itself. It is kind of trying to get out of some kind of trend here. Um, on the weekly side here with earnings, it kind of dropped, but now it's kind of slowly recovering from that. We're seeing. Let me go back to the daily side here. It is kind of staying above the 150 SMA here in the daily side here, which is kind of some of it. Like you can really see that level around $20 is very significant. So that's going to be potentially something to look out for, and I can just kind of draw a line to kind of highlight that for you here. So basically, it's like the $20 level. We've seen it bounce here, or sorry, gap up on earnings here, bounce here, kind of bounce here, and now it's kind of running up. So is this going to be continue to kind of consolidate like this? AKA, what am I drawing here, everyone? It looks like it could be some kind of wedge, right? So we'll see how this one plays out here. I'm 100% for them to outperform and do well for their shareholders and so forth. And I just need to do a little bit more of a research on understanding the business and understanding more of a long term perspective on it rather than just short term kind of trading and some of those things that I see on X and YouTube and so forth. Let me just take another drink from a non-sponsored drink, aka Spindrift. Again, Spindrift, if you're listening out there, I'm your man. Please sponsor me. I'm very family-friendly oriented content. I think Spindrift would fit in perfectly with talking for stocks and having to quench my thirst after talking for hours on end. Um, So a couple things that I wanted to look at, some stocks that I'm interested in that I currently I do own some of these, and looking at Meta. So why would I own Meta? So Meta had dropped pretty drastic on earnings. Again, this was very much in tune with like the overall play of, hey, AI play. Yes, Llama's great. They're giving it away. It's basically open source. It is open source, not basically. And it's kind of slowly coming back here and kind of creating some kind of a flag here. Looking here on the daily side, it's a little bit better. Has filled the gap already, and you can kind of see what I'm selling basically Iron Condor on this. It has filled the gap here, and it's kind of just trading sideways. Any break above 520 is a break up, and a breakdown is going to be basically around 450 and below of showing levels of support there. But again, the overall thesis for me is Meta, very large component in the AI, and it's going to be potentially gobbling up some market share, especially in the advertising space on how they're doing that. Another one, which a lot of people have not heard about, is VRT, Avertive Holdings. So this stock looks fantastic, right? This stock has been basically gangbusters. Yes, I brought it back, gangbusters. Let me turn my light on. Am I getting dark in here? Um, on that front. So basically, this is a direct play of the AI infrastructure play. And what do I mean by that? Let me basically, it is a it's a the all the company does is create manufacturing for AI components. So if you go to their site, all they do is talk about AI and whatsoever. So they make all the components that you saw uh, Jensen in Taiwan talking about server racks, the AI data center, all this kind of stuff. VRT, they're the folks that create those black boxes that all the NVIDIA stuff goes in, that all the switches go in, that all everything goes in. This is the cooling system that they manufacture and they sell to NVIDIA to basically drive their systems. So this is, again, what does this look like? This looks like the thing that Jensen Huang was talking about regarding the the new AI data center, the growth in AI, and so forth. So I think this stock is fantastic. The reason I wanted to highlight it, it had a very drastic break for no apparent reason. That this, again, is could be the AI play, could be the NVIDIA split, whatever. I don't really care what the news cycle is. I just kind of care on the price action here. It has broken below. We're on the daily side now. It has broken below the 50 SMA here. It has shown support multiple times on that 50 SMA. It's considered broken if you're being a perfect technical analysis, but I think it's more of a finessing, and it is kind of potentially be going to be bouncing back above 90. Again, it's going to be in lieu with Nvidia. Like, Nvidia is the true market leader, and wherever Nvidia goes, the whole other market goes, right? So it just being very cognizant of that. But I think VRT, that 90 price target, is very enticing for me to purchase some more shares for myself. Another one that I've been looking at is Celsius. So Celsius, I actually never had. I've only had one Celsius in my life. But again, Spindrift, if you want to sponsor me, let me know. They're not publicly traded yet. Would love to get into the IPO. And for that, Celsius. So Celsius, what stock? This thing is, again, the market share of trying to get into the Red Bulls, the Monsters, the energy drink kind of market, by just making it a super caffeinated drink, and it's supposed to taste good. Um, Not on completely on board with all that, but again, I'm more of a spindrift kind of person. But this thing has been trading sporadically. Excuse me, at best. Let's go to the weekly side to give you a little better understanding here. It has had a pretty good run up, but the last couple quarters, it's just kind of been very a mixed bag, and then some short reports coming out about some issues on how they distill the drink and so forth. I don't know if it's just a bunch of bears trying to attack the stock. I'm not 100% sure, but the price action is showing that it took it very seriously, because it basically dropped within like 2 weeks. It went from, what was that, 95 to, let me draw a line here, 95. In about 7 days, it dropped about 26%. And that's a lot. That's a lot. And it wasn't, that was after the earnings too, right? Like, that's pretty dramatic. You can see the bleeding has kind of stopped here. You see this, like, this large red candle here, then a little bit, and then another flush, and now we're kind of consolidating here. Can this hold? Yes, maybe. So we don't know. That $72 to $70 range could be potentially some levels of support here, and maybe for that next catalyst to move higher here. But longer, kind of stays down in this negative area. The 50 SMA is kind of rolling over. It's just not the world's greatest pattern here for me, unless there's some large catalyst that's unknown to the market that's coming out. Another one I want to look at is TSM. I know we're talking about chips here a lot, but chips, chips, chips. I love to eat chips. TSM is of course the manufacturer, the fab, the fab for anyone who needs to make chips. Like MU is the only one plus that kind of does it. We always talk about trying to reshore this stuff to the United States. Is it going to happen? I don't know when. We're investing into it. Congress is going to take some time to kind of get that ball roll moving. Um, but Pelosi's got some great trades on NVIDIA, so I'm going to copy that. Just joking on that. TSM looking great, continues to grow higher here at all-time highs this past week. Nothing to report. It's just extended for me. I wouldn't be able to get into it. Um, ba, 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 ba. Dell. Dell was one of those two that this past week or so had earnings, came down drastically due to a miss, pretty much kind of in line like with the CRM side of just not having the go-to power to potentially move the market in the sense of their AI enterprise and basically figuring that out. How are they going to bundle it? How are they going to sell it? And so forth. But this looks interesting. Again, for me, it's holding at the 50 SMA and on the weekly side, it's at the 10-week. Basically, those two are in line. Those are potentially a starting of a small nibble position to kind of get the ball rolling on that. Another play that I'm looking at, a lot of these charts look very much similar. So this is the charts I like to play. As Make My Trip. Make My Trip is again, it's great stock. Is basically a direct impact of the Indian economy. Again, this is their booking. This has been completely gangbusters this past year or so here, coming down to the 10-week line as levels of support here. So I'm going to continue be playing this in the sense of buying at the 10-week line and kind of letting that consolidate from that. Uber. Uber is an interesting one too because they had trying to trend break here. Again, let's go to the daily side here. It kind of tells you a little bit of a better picture here. Again, that trend line, we can. My 7-year-old daughter can do it. Look at that. That's a trend break. It's been bouncing, going down, and then boop goes the weasel. It popped out, and it's trying to break out again. For what reason? I don't know. Right? There's you can tie news stories to so many different things. Price action is king. It gapped up. I potentially can make a move higher here. Looking to potentially fill this gap. It's filled this downward gap already, just slightly. It hasn't closed above it. So basically 70 close or above is, in my view, a little bit more of a bullish than bearish picture. But again, that trend did last for quite some time here, and the 50 SMA is still kind of pointing down here. On the weekly side, it's still not the greatest. It is a large price action move up, but it's nothing to throw your whole account and go on margin for it. Another stock that a lot of people I probably talk about too is Kava. Kava is the Mediterranean diet or Mediterranean cuisine. It's basically the Chipotle of Mediterranean food. Same kind of scenario, having the understanding of making your own bowl. You can kind of go through, get a bowl, a pita wrap, all these kinds of things, and play it in that sense. So we can kind of so that this one was really interesting because how it came on my radar. This is a newer IPO stock, and it had its earnings lockup basically down here on the day of my birthday, and it was just interesting to see the price action move. Once that usually when if a stock doesn't if investors don't really believe in it and long-term traders investors don't believe in it fully, you'll see that lockup period trade flat or even down. um, 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 is basically you can trade down, but it had such a large volume pop up. It got on our radar just on the volume, and then the price break above 40. I just had to trade it, and I've been holding it ever since then. It's been a crazy ride. Like, look at this. This has been almost like a straight up market move here, and just kind of flying in that sense. Comparing that to CMG again, Chipotle. Chipotle has been around for many, many more years. Yes, it's a much larger market cap. I think but Kava has 100, 200, almost 300 locations. Um, Chipotle has 1,000 plus. So what I'm saying is, I think they can potentially uh, make that market cap into CMG. Honestly, um, in that front. Another one I wanted to discuss and look at. Let's look at did VRT, did Meta, Spy, QQQ. Let's do look at. Is anything out there? Let me see here. Let me check my list here. Check it once, check it twice. Good. Oh, I wanted to look at ARC. Again, we've had this wonderful move in the overall market. Um, and guess what? The ARC fund has not moved with the market. They have just been trading and just kind of stagnating around here, this ETF. Godspeed, RIP on that front. I wouldn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Let's go look at the overall market understanding. So we're looking at the SPY here on the weekly side, closing an all-time high last week. That's great. Then we have QQQ closing at an all-time high this week. This is all good news. This is really good for the overall market. You can't have a bear market if you're closing at all-time highs, right? But yeah, I'm going to open up to any questions out there. It's streamed for a little bit, about an hour now. Again, the larger market moves that we're looking for next week is Tesla, aka we're looking for a quick little recap. The report on the sense of the shareholders approving the package. Then we have AAPL, aka Apple. We're looking for that move potentially to go higher here. Looking for some good stuff to come out from their WWDC conference, and seeing how that potentially can come and play, with any kind of partnership with OpenAI, or talking about reinventing Siri and so forth. All going to be fun stuff there. Of course, my baby NVDA, we have that split happening. It's already happened, but the market share is going to be trading at 1/10 the price. Again, if you're new to this, this is not going to affect any which way. It just changes the amount of shares that you will have, and it just lowers the price basically synthetically. But the same amount of value of the shares are all out there, but it just brings the cost of ownership slightly down because of the share price. Then we talked about Eli Lilly. We talked about Dell, PLTR. I'm gonna do in more of an in-depth video discussing PLTR and trying to figure out what the elixir is there, and going from. It looks like the futures are still slightly flat. Basically nothing to report there, on that front. It looks like we had a good showing. Again, I really appreciate everyone coming out. I will do I promise I'm going to be a little bit more active, in trying to do the live stream every Sunday, and putting out weekly videos regarding market updates, perspective of certain content, certain news things, and so forth. And if you have any liking or so, please let me know in the comment sections and or so. But on that front, Thank you, everyone, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.